Welcome back, my friends. The winter was long and boring, so we'll skip ahead to the spring, where Hydrophyte and Cat were getting married. Oh, good for the two of them. Now, that's not to say that things didn't happen. Indeed, there was a bit of concern when some clothing went missing. And suddenly, Bowman was better at art, but since she had created all that clothing herself, it was not seen as too much of a problem. Now, things were looking good for the colony, which made everybody just a little bit nervous. After all, things went well. That was an excellent time for things to suddenly go poorly. Meanwhile, something interesting was going on with Jerk, of all people. Jerk was, of all things, studying how to shape materials, much like Ithel does with his artwork. Nobody was actually complaining. It was kind of sweet, and he was using up all the spare bone that they had, which, quite frankly, they had a ton of. So nobody saw it as a problem that Jerk was doing this. After all, young men, well, youngsters period, deserve to have all the options available to them in life. Camisa's efforts to improve her crafting skill were paying off. Anna, meanwhile, had taken fully to worshipping Kala, the goddess of compassion. She was skilled at building, but And she had her sights set on loftier things, so to say. So Ithel had purchased a book for her. Well, part of a book. They couldn't afford the full thing. But there was a tattered remains of another that they were able to afford. And Camisa was working on the other portion of it. Ah, yes. And it was about time that creatures went mad. And just like that, the crisis of the Mad Yaks was over. Isn't it good when occasionally a crisis lasts for mere moments? Unfortunately, some stray arrows had hit one of their sentinels that Andriel had set up. So she set out to arrange some more. However, this time, she put this sentinel closer. There. And just like that, upon studying those scrolls, those tattered remains of a book, Anna learned the basics of becoming not just a worshiper, but more, able to channel Kala's grace. Meanwhile, it was decided that the sculptures that Jerk was making would be put in people's rooms and spruce them up a little bit. Her prayers, however, led to a rather odd request. A changing of the prison. Specifically, that it be beautified. And that proper sleeping arrangements were constructed. The others could stand behind this. It was a reasonable request. Having them sleep on the floor was, in retrospect, perhaps a little cruel. Besides, they could take this opportunity to improve the security of the prison just a little bit, while still appeasing Kala. They really could not see a fault in any of this. Now, some other races may consider it perhaps morbid that the Twisted used bone to make these sculptures. I could say perhaps some disparaging words about this, but they would rather use all of the animal than let any of it go to waste. And since they had little need for quite a bit, well, art it was. This way the animal is still honored. And Jerk gets to get his desire to create out of his system. A proper channel for this is always appreciated after all. Ah, excellent. Everybody was pleased as another harvest of Devil Strand was completed. Tomboy set to work, turning it into cloth. Busby watching, fascinated by Tomboy's diligent fingers. Please, please, try the goat cheese. It's very, very tasty. Ah, there we go. Now, while all of that was going on, there was still quite a bit of work to be done. Even though that the prison was now looking, honestly, fairly decent. But no. There was more to be done than just that. And like that, it only took about a day. For the prison to be completely revamped. Made anew. The children were taught the skills of combat, less because it was something that was wanted to be taught to them, but more that they felt had to be taught to them. Bowman took some of the linen that, quite frankly, was not doing them much good anymore, and was turning them into dolls. Not just for the children, but for sale as well. Luna found herself addicted to psychite. Specifically the tea that they brewed. They felt bad. The others couldn't handle its effects as well as the Twisted could. I felt more than a little responsibility for her addiction. Bowman told them that it would be fine. Just as they helped Bowman, they would help Luna. Using some of their spare unrefined magicite, they created a gem of physical insight and knew who probably would want to trade for it the most. The dwarves. Of course, the dwarves would want something of physical insight. Surprisingly, instead of who they usually sent, Ithil, this time Tronka went. Taking a single mare with him. It was hoped that should the continued curse of someone attacking whenever another would leave on an excursion, that this time things would go more easily. Of course, it meant sleeping out on the road, but c'est la vie. Bill and Remy got into a fight. An offhand comment by Remy had set Bill off. Everybody rolled their eyes. The idiots. Camino is getting older. While already quite social, and a fast learner, and learning the way of magecraft, they seem to be growing even more into a social individual. On top of that, they seem to be quite cheerful. Something that relieved all of the parents. It was always a concern that children might not grow up happy. But the sign that nothing could be further from the truth was a blessed relief. Come morning, Tronco was on the road again, speeding furiously to try and make it home before an attack occurred. Privately to himself, he hoped that he could break this curse of constantly being attacked whenever somebody left. But the mountains were hard. The dwarves had set up in a pass that a river ran through. And appreciate it the dwarves did, declaring themselves allies of the Twisted. A blessed relief, one less person, and one less group that they had to worry about attacking them. Sadly, Tronka's hopes were in vain. To arms, to arms. As the horns of battle sounded from the enemy, everyone got to work, scurrying to their positions. But they had gotten some done. Some preparation for just such an eventuality. Everybody was called to arms, except for, of course, Remy and Mal. Hydrophyte was not very much good in combat. And Anna, Anna was best served with her refusal to fight. By protecting others. However, there had been a misjudgment. As if to taunt them, the vicious elves did not immediately attack. That was enough time to take down 2 archers. And then to lure 2 spearmen. That would make at least 1 battle easier. Makar decided to try again. Dangerous as it was. And dealt quite the series of blows. Before fleeing again. More elvish spearmen came. But they were not prepared for Davenport's fury. Their quick slaughter incited the elves, causing the first group to attack. They waited in silence. Curses. Some of the elves had tried to take a different route. It did not work out for them at all. Thankfully, the way that they had been separated out meant that they were more easily controlled. Attacked and killed. About the time that Makar thought that he could take on another group, the others attacked en masse. It did not, however, appear that any were going to come from the anticipated upper direction. If they did, it would be very few. The first wave of attackers fell quickly. And like that, all of them fell. They had hoped that some would survive, but once again, oh no, no. There was one still alive. And, with luck, their survival would mean that they could be released. And improve relations, show the other elves that they were not devious monsters. After all, look at how they would treat them. They would nurse their wounds, restore them to health, and then let them go home. Unmolested, unharmed. Surely that would show the elves that they were an honorable and just people, right? Right? But there were also more mundane concerns to tend to. For the group had other strange ideas. They would no longer, well, not no longer, but for the most part, they would no longer use weapons gained from enemies. Elven weapons, especially. No need to draw even more ire. Perhaps that was part of the reason why the elves kept attacking. It was worth a shot, right? They wanted to make peace with their kin so badly, but their kin viewed them as monsters, twisted by foul magic, and yet, as far as they could tell, they had been paragons of virtuousness. Was there nothing that they could do to prove to the other elves that they were not the monsters that the elves saw them to be? They wished that more of the elves had survived the attack. While cremation would mean not only for them that they would not have to worry about illness, but the spirits of the elves would be rightfully returned by the proper methods of sending off for a cremation. The ashes were not kept when elves were cremated, and instead scattered to the winds. Ever the practical people, though, the group resolved to not let too much go to waste. It would break down into component parts, the shields, and the clothes. Anna moved quickly to tend to the prisoner. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. Trunka was dismayed when he saw just how bad the attack had been, but very little in the way of wounds. Thankfully, small miracles do happen. While everyone else got to hauling as quickly as they could, Bowman got to work breaking down the cloth, the armor. Well, she did this. Camisa got to work creating more shoulder capes. Bill, truly the only one actually hurt, was doing well. Trunka decided to help out as best he could. Oh no, wait. My bad, I'm remembering improperly. Bill wasn't hurt in battle. Bill was hurt before battle. That's right. You'll have to forgive me. I really should stop hitting up the mead before you come. Oh well. At least the harp was getting plenty of use. And if the area was starting to look a little haggard, a little rough. It's storage space at a premium right now. It's decided to hold off on making more art until they had a better way of putting it somewhere. Though still wounded and recovering, their prisoner went into a daze. Despite how beautiful his prison was. Bowman worked diligently. Time and time again. Stripping down as much of the armor into anything that they could use as she could. Meanwhile, the researchers were busy trying to figure out how exactly magic interacted with physical items. Using that, they may be able to figure out how magic interacts with, well, living creatures. Ah, the fire had gone out. Corpses would begin to rot soon. It had to be restarted quickly to dispose of the dead properly. Pex meditated as the others worked. But perhaps of the effort that they were going through. Attempts to calm Fino down are not working very well. He was still wandering in a daze. They feared for him. But I think that I will go ahead and leave you here. There will probably be many days worth of talking about cleaning up. So, until the next time, my friends, thank you and goodbye.